Good morning, everybody. This is the Personal Playlist Podcast, fondly referred to as the P3 on voicEd Radio. I'm Noah Daniel.
Music is a world within itself, with a language we all understand, with an equal opportunity for all to sing, dance, and clap their hands.
I am so excited to be here live on the Personal Playlist Podcast. My guest today on this Radiothon anniversary / birthday is Ted Sloan. Ted is a pre-service teacher studying at Laurier who's about to go into a teaching block in grade 3. Teaching is actually Ted's third career of sorts, having been a radio personality and actor before deciding to take Shakespeare into a larger realm and teach even more to learners. From 2004 to 2013, he worked in every position at an independent radio station called Moose FM in Fort St. John, BC. He was cleaning, hosting, learning all aspects of the business, really growing up there and even having his voice change on live radio. I first met Ted through our weekly panel on talking education on On-End Benters, and we've been together for a few conversations. So Ted, I'm so excited to have you here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. That was a wonderful intro. I feel like the bar is high. I have to perform well, but I'm very excited to be here. Thank you so much.
Well, performance is in your blood, Ted, and I'm excited that you found this place in education to take everything, because in so many ways, educators, we're on all the time. And so having that acting background and having the bevy of experiences that you have probably brings a lot to the table. Are you getting ready for your block?
I am. I just finished my formal classes on Friday, and then I've managed to observe the class that I'm going to be in for the last couple of weeks. But I'm walking into a grade 3 classroom, kind of observing for a little bit, and then jumping in with both feet. So I'm nervous and I'm really excited at the same time.
That's kind of how I roll every day. I don't think it ever goes away because, when you're trying something different, or you want to, lead students on an inquiry, or you want to be live on the radio, all of that, I don't know, it fuels me as much as it scares me. So I hope it fuels you too, Ted.
Yes, it's lovely how much nervous energy nervous energy can give you, or at least how much get up and go, or it truly surprises you what you can do when you need to do it.
It's true. And speaking of what you need to do, you filled in for some people in the Yukon at a bed and breakfast, and there's a good story there. Do you want to share that for a second?
Yeah, sure. Thanks. So I was during my acting career, I had the chance to work next to a lovely lady who was from the Yukon. Her parents owned a bed and breakfast up there in Yellowknife. Oh, sorry, not Yukon. I got this stupidly wrong. In Yellowknife, so in the Northwest Territories. And if she's listening, I'm so sorry, Tiff. Anyways, long story short, I ran a bed and breakfast kind of during the day, and then I also rented out canoes, including these huge canoes that were like 30 feet long and could fit multiple people. And that was the year that Princess Kate and Prince William came into their honeymoon in the Northwest Territories. And just because I had these canoes, the royal couple wanted to go on a canoe ride, except they needed canoes that was big enough for their security detail, because they just don't go anywhere alone. They need bodyguards. So they rented canoes from us. And so I got to meet them, and it was, I just remember, they walked up, and the only thing I could say, is, "You're really tall." And then Kate was next to Prince William. I said, "You're really beautiful." And it was not like trying to be compliment. It was just the flabbergasted, "Oh gosh, you're beautiful." And I just remember him smiling and saying in a very deep voice, "Thank you." And then moving on. It was surreal. But the other cool thing is they didn't actually end up taking our canoes. They rented them. We got them all set up and all that. But the reason why they didn't is because they spent the morning with kids, and then sent their regrets and said, "We're really sorry. We don't really want to go canoeing. We just want to play with these kids." And we're like, you can't say no to that. So that was, they were really, I have a British family, a family who live in England, and they're very hesitant about the royal couple. But that was really nice to have that kind of story with them and be like, they're in that small brief period, they were really beautiful.
their trip to Canada was actually a huge success story and really great for the monarchy in a lot of ways. But I want to get to why we're here together today,
Yes.
Ted. So the essence of the show is that educators bring 3 songs, one that's nostalgic, one that reflects your identity, and, one that really picks you up. Sometimes it lights you up, sometimes it motivates you. And you sent me a whole slew of songs. So you, like so many of my guests, had some challenges picking your songs. Tell me a little about the process.
So you reached out to me on a Saturday, right in the middle of final assignments, which was wonderful because I said I could write this unit that I'm doing, or I could just look at songs on my playlist. So for about 2 hours, I filtered through looking at every song on my iTunes list. And we were kind of talking yesterday, and it was so much fun because I ended up sending you 9 songs in total, but each song got to be a story of where I was at somewhere in my life. So not only was I listening to music that I really liked, but as I would hit play, I'd go, oh yeah, I remember this is when I fell off a stage, or I clicked this song and I went, oh yeah, this is the song that I was playing when my voice broke on the radio, or oh yeah, this is the song that I asked my current girlfriend to go out with me at. So it was a beautiful reading of my own book.
Isn't that wonderful? Music really is memory. And I'm glad that this was a catalyst for you to go on that journey. But let's go back. Let's go way back. Mm-hmm. So your nostalgic song reflects where you're from. Do you want to give us a quick intro before Stephen, by the way, Stephen Hurley is helping us out today, obviously, because we're live and because this is a wonderful time to celebrate everything that radio can be and what it means to change the way we talk about education in Canada here on voicEd. So Stephen's going to be the one DJing throughout this entire time. So thank you in advance for being here, Stephen. And Ted, lead us back.
Okay, so the song that I picked, I'm originally from British Columbia. I'm from a small city in northeast British Columbia called Fort St. John. And it's fun because when I tell people that in Ontario that I'm from BC, everyone goes, Vancouver's beautiful. And it is. I love Vancouver, lived there for a number of years. But if you get in your car in Vancouver and you drive north for anywhere between 14 and 18 hours, then you'll hit my town. And it's a bizarre and wonderful city. We're large enough that we can attract some really cool things, but we're small enough that at 2 a.m., if your neighbor's cows get out, you get up and you get them. And so,
oh, that's fantastic.
Oh, I farm sat once, and yep, that I didn't know you could farm sit, and B, the person who I was houses at, he's like, it'll be fine. And then at 3 a.m., the cows got out. I didn't know anybody within about 3 miles, but I just remember getting on my skidoo, because that was the only way to go because it was too cold, going to the person's house next door, knocking on their door and saying, I don't know who you are, you don't know who I am, but the Giesbrechts cows are out, can you help me? And not only did the guy help me, he made me breakfast and then went back to bed. He didn't speak a word, but he took care of me. And that's kind of like that was Fort St. John to me in a nutshell. So when you asked me to pick a song, the song that I picked is called BC. It's by someone from my hometown, a band called Last Horse Standing. And you'll hear a male singing, and he's one of my good friends. But in the background, you'll hear a female singing. And she's a teacher in BC. She's one of the best teachers I've ever met, and she's just one of the best people I met. So this song has kind of all the elements of me. It's got where I'm from. It sings songs. It sings words that I can attest to. And it's local and full of friendship, which is super corny, but is kind of hopefully the greatest reflection I think of myself. Is all of those things bundled into this one song. So it's called BC. It's by Last Horse Standing. And this would be it.
We were born in the cradle of those Selkirk mountain peaks. And now we're living in the beauty of the wheat fields of the peace. We've traipsed across your trails and hitchhiked your highways. Your rivers we've romanced as we venture through your vast expanse. And it all sings to me. Oh, BC, I've scaled your mountain peaks, drank from your streams and swam your oceans deep. Oh, BC, you're beautiful to me. I'm a part
It's a great illustration of, even my minimal experiences. But I think that perception that we get about drinking from springs and swimming in the deep ocean, it's this illustrative song. And I actually read an article preparing for this, which I'm going to put on the blog post that will come out on Tuesday. But I think the lead singer was saying there's power in one sense of place in the world in this article. And I think this really gives a sense of place, like an ode to BC. Yeah,
that's a beautiful way of putting it. And I like it because if you hear, he says the wheat fields of the peace, because BC is a beautiful province and I consider myself very lucky to be there. But there's the part of BC that wheat fields of the peace is a part where you can stand on the tallest hill in my hometown, and yet you see the flatness of the prairies, you see the Rockies on your left, and you're just lucky enough to be part of it all. So, home is a different place to everybody, and everyone can brag about home. But it's truly gets in your bones. So it's a lovely, lovely song and place. Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, but you did not interrupt me, Ted. This show is all about you today.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for that wonderful picture. When people have to choose their identity songs, people take it in lots of different ways. Some people choose songs that literally have descriptors of who they are as a person. Some of them choose songs about pivotal moments in their life. Why did you choose the next song?
I'm trying to think. I chose the next song. Oh, because it was really hard to choose the next song when you think about where you are. So I was scanning through and I was talking to my girlfriend because I find Jaren, my partner, she's just a great thermometer because I could be like, I think I feel like this. And she's like, really? Because this is what you're doing. And this show tells me that you're feeling like this. So I was saying, hey, does this song work? Hey, does this song work? And she's like, no. So the song that I picked, what song did I pick now that I'm thinking?
So we'll introduce it now. It's Dear Life by High Valley.
Okay, great. I picked this song because the other songs that I picked were I'm Not a Girl, Not Yet a Woman by Britney Spears, which went right out the window because it was not. The reason why is because I'm not quite a teacher, but I don't feel like a kid. And I really just like Britney Spears. She grew, that song was released when I was younger and it was just kind of in my wheelhouse. But it's not the song for me. But the reason why I picked Dear Life, again, local connection. The singer, I dated his wife's sister, which is that super small town. Oh yeah, I know him. He's related to my third cousin. But this band, it's from Alberta. Again, I got to interview them by radio. They're just the kindest men in the world that I know. And secondly, they're a lot of fun. Thirdly, the lyrics of the song are, I find, really, really good for someone who's about to jump into a new adventure. These gentlemen, when they wrote this song, if I have this right, they were making the move from Canadian radio to Nashville radio, which is jumping from almost the big leagues, because Canada is the big leagues. But if you go to Nashville, you're jumping into the huge pro scary world. And he wrote this song kind of in reflection of that, of saying, I have this world that loves me and supports me and is great, but I'm going to jump into the next world. What am I doing? And Dear Life, is this a good option? So it's also a country song. And I worked in country radio for 10 years, so I couldn't not put a country song. So the song is called Dear Life. Thank you, Noah, for reminding me. It's by a band called High Valley. They're out of Alberta.
Wait, before we introduce it, you said something that made me think about something else that you had said, and you talked about, supportive. And I just want to speak for a minute about your dad. You kind of casually called him the best teacher ever, and I think we need to probe that before we get into your identity song.
Okay. So my father, named Dave Sloan, who I share the same name with, he was my teacher. He when you're in a small town, sometimes you're just going to go into the same school as your dad. But he was a principal at an elementary school. I was a student at another elementary school. And my dad had talked a lot about wanting to become a principal at the middle school of our town. And this was the year that I was going to the middle school. And I remember it was the morning. I don't remember doing, but I remember him coming into my room and saying, Ted, you know that I wanted to be a principal for a long time. And I said, yes, Dad. And I said, did you get the spot? And he said, I got offered the position, but I know it's the school that you're going to. And I will say no if you want to make sure, if you want it to be your school, because I know that's important to you. And I remember just being like, wow, thanks, Dad. Thank you for listening and honoring me. And I said, no, go for it. And one of the coolest things is when my dad became a principal of that school, he created a class. He created a 7:30 a.m. morning class. It was an English class. And I ended up being in it. And it was a bizarre class because Dad made it very clear that when I was in school, he was Mr. Sloan and I was not his son. But throughout that whole year, everybody, because I kept tally, everybody called him Dad, except for me because I wasn't allowed to. So they all had their school.
Hilarious.
Yeah, I was right ripped. But yeah, they all had their school dads, and I had Mr. Sloan. But it was just so neat to watch him in his element because he really loves to provoke thought and to make you question what you think. He's an English teacher, and so we would say something and he would go, "Why do you think that?" But he's one of the best teachers I had for that. And because all the students felt comfortable in saying, "Hey, Mr. Sloan, I have a problem." And the other neat thing I love about him is ever since he's gone up the ranks, and I'm very proud of him. He's now the superintendent of a district at West. But as he's gone up, made the move from administration to board office, from board office to super, he's maintained that he gets to keep the 7:30 a.m. class on top of all of his other duties. And I asked him why. He said, well, it's because I'm in the education business. I need to have kids at the center of what I'm doing. And I thought that was so cool that he's at the top, but he maintains that he has the center, so he never quite forgets why he's there. And I don't know, to me, it's neat.
That's pretty special.
Yeah.
Special that's his sense of identity. And you, Mr. Sloan, have your identity song. So here is Dear Life by High Valley.
Dear life, I hope you know I've loved you every mile down this road. Had my share of hits and misses, trying to keep between the ditches. Dear life, I hope you know. Dear life, what's your plan? Is where I'm supposed to be, right where I am. If it is, then I ain't leaving. If it ain't, I'll keep on dreaming. Dear life, what's your plan? Now you're flying by too fast. I'm about to make you last. Begging, won't you please just slow down? You're scaring me to death. I'm trying to catch my breath. Don't want to let you go. I'm hanging on for dear life. Dear hanging on for dear life. Dear life.
Existential questions.
Yep.
What an interesting journey this song is all about. And you said that it reflects you because you're on this journey.
Yeah. I never knew I wanted to be a teacher. And in fact, when I told my dad I was going to be a teacher, I thought he'd be proud. And he said, "Oh, are you really sure?" And that question has actually always been in the back of my head. Am I really sure I want to do this? And it's a lovely editor because it holds me accountable to all the lessons I teach. Because if I'm not sure, then what am I going to do to make sure that, I think you said it once, what am I going to do in each lesson to make sure that someone can learn from me? So yeah, it's my bellwether in the back of my head.
No, it's good to have a gauge, and it's good to be able to ask yourself, those metacognitive questions and use reflection to make sure that you're making the most out of this precious time that we have, kind of related to the song. Do you wish it would slow down like the lyrics say?
No. I was one of the things that I admire about you, and I'd love to know more, is you just sound like you're so busy. If anybody knows me, when I was 14, I was working full-time in radio. I was developing my acting skills by being in at least a musical every month. And I was trying to pull off straight A's. And I was the local goalkeeper for our traveling rep team. So I like to be busy. And if it's not busy, then something's wrong. Or not something's wrong, but I feel very off kilter.
I'm similar. But, speaking of musicals, your next song started out as a film, was turned into a Broadway musical, and then brought back into a film starring Robin Williams and Nathan Lane and Gene Hackman and, and Hank Azaria, and I could go on. But why of all the songs that you had sent me, even in the beginning, did you kind of settle on this? And from this particular, I mean, when you think about it, I don't know if you think about it as a Broadway play or as a story or as a movie, but why'd you choose it?
Well, I choose this particular song because I watched a friend perform it. So when I went to acting school, it was a bit of I was very lucky to get in. There was only 12 of us in the program, quite a few people auditioned. And I remember this one man who was he was one of the best actors in Edmonton, and he was still quite young. And he and I always thought he was better than me. And we didn't have a competition per se, but we were uneasy around each other, and he was always uneasy around singing. And in our last year, I remember we were in an actual production together, and we got to know each other. And he revealed to me that he had always respected me, and he felt the same way about me as that I had felt about him. And he always looked up to me. And, that was just a huge blessing and a huge wonder, thinking, I wonder how many people I wonder how many stories about people I don't know. And anyways, I watched him sing this song as one of his final songs. And it was the memory of him fully, because at this point he became comfortable with singing and he celebrated himself. And there's something remarkable about watching someone you love stand and be 100% comfortable in themselves. And not only that, but have the courage to say, this is who I am. And I don't know if you like it, but I've looked into the mirror and I've said, I like it. And that is just so cool to watch someone say that. And I hope to be able to do that. So I picked this song because it's about a character who does just that. And I really hope that the kids I teach at some point in their life, maybe because of me, maybe because of someone else, but they'll be able to stand up in front of the classroom and say the words to this song. Maybe they'll sing it because I'd love to teach theater, but maybe during a science project, I'll see the words come out anyways. So it's called I Am What I Am, and it's from La Cage aux Folles, and it's just one of the most beautiful, tingly songs I can think of.
Okay, let's play.
I am what I am. I am my own special creation. So come take a look. Give me the hook or the ovation. It's my world that I want to have a little pride in. My world, and it's not a place I have to hide in. Life's not worth a damn till you can say, hey world, I am what I am. I am what I am. I don't want praise, I don't want pity. I bang my own drum. Some think it's noise, I think it's pretty. And so what if I love each feather and each spangle? Why not try to see things from a different angle? Life's not worth a damn till you can shout out loud, I am what I am. I am what I am.
celebrating yourself is exactly what the P3 is about. And it's really all the Bobs I create. And what I believe teaching should be about is giving kids a chance to say, hey, world, I am what I am, and in a place where they can take that risk and feel free to be themselves. And I'm so, so glad that you were able to come out today and give us a taste of what you're about. I hope that you do give students a chance to get that standing ovation that every single child deserves. And is there anything else you want to add? Is there a song missing from your playlist? Like, what would make this time with me complete for you?
Oh, I mean, we could talk forever, and I would love to ask you some of these questions, but that's for another cup of coffee and another type of time. I wanted to, I don't know if I can. I'd just like to say, part of the on-ed conversations, I just wanted to say thank you for being such a great mentor and having great conversations and fostering people. I know that you and I talked a little bit yesterday about different philosophies. And I had mentioned that one of my favorite philosophies about being a teacher was getting to be the moon. Basically, the long and the short was I had a radio personality once, my mentor say, a great radio personality is like a moon. Everyone looks at them, they see that they're bright, and they wonder and they go, ooh, nice, that's amazing. But the moon is really just reflecting the light of the sun or reflecting the best of the world around it. And I know that in our conversation yesterday, I really got to appreciate that about you, about how you do that in such a good way, whether it be your students, whether it be the hosts on your show. You really take the best of your guest and you reflect it. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
I'm really smiling. That's a dream for me. So thank you. I love to build people up. I love to build experiences where people get to be and see themselves. And now I'm feeling kind of tingly, like your descriptor for that song. Before we go today, though, I just want to talk for a second about the GoFundMe opportunity on the voicEd Radiothon. Really, it's about a show of support. It's about knowing how hard Stephen works to help create this vision and create a place where all of us can celebrate ourselves and celebrate the people that come on the shows. So hit the button, listen to all the other amazing people today, and, get to know Ted some more. He comes out on Thursday nights to On-Ed Mentors, and hopefully we're going to hear a lot more from you, Ted, as you go through this journey. Thank you so much for coming out today. Is there anything you want to say before we go?
Just a big thank you to you. And I was honored to be part of the show. So good luck in the future.
Oh, thank you. Every day is a new adventure, and I'm so excited to start mine with you. So, Mr. Hurley, do you want to do a quick anniversary?
Thank you for joining us on the P3, the Personal Playlist Podcast. I'm Noah Daniel. This is voicEd Radio, and I hope you have a fantastic day.
I'm always humming when we're editing that down. I'm always humming in the background. And
me too. I wanted to give you time for your anniversary thing, but I think you only needed a minute. So I'm sorry if I caught you.
Oh, happy anniversary, happy anniversary.
Does anyone recognize this?
Well, I remember it from the Flintstones, actually.
Yes, it is from the Flintstones.
But be careful you don't spill it. Happy anniversary. Oh, happy anniversary, happy anniversary.
Is it bad to say that I'm too young to remember the Flintstones?
No, not at all.
How could I ever forget that?
Anyways, that's the song. We've got... Yeah, there they go again. We've got lots of other bumpers coming up. I didn't want to play them too early because I know the people that created them probably weren't out of bed yet. But we've had Helen DeWard's class up in Aurelia at Lakehead create some special voicEd radio bumpers to use throughout the day. We're going to be working those in. But I am Stephen Hurley. Thanks so much to Noah Daniel, Ted Sloan, or David Sloan, depending on what day it is, for being here. I have to zip over to the other room, so I'm going to say goodbye to you guys, and
I'm going to say goodbye to you. Have a great day. What a wonderful time for a Radiothon.
Well,
Stephen.
feel free to
Thank you so much, Stephen.
feel free to jump in anytime you want in any of these conversations. I think,